Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chantel and you're probably going to be hearing my cat in this video. If you watched a lot of my videos, you've probably heard her before. And you know, she occasionally makes appearances. So we're just gonna roll with it. Today I'm doing a tag for Tag Tuesday. This is going up on a Tuesday. I got tagged for a tag. We're doing it. So this is the fictional self-help tag. It's a very fun little tag. It was originally created by Alan's Reads, and I was tagged for this by Netta at Basically Netta. So thank you to Alan's Reads for creating the tag. Thank you to Netta for tagging me. This is a very fun little tag where we just talk about some things that ways that I might want to improve myself and the fictional characters who would help me do that, which I think is a very fun time. So all of these answers are very tongue-in-cheek, not to be taken seriously, and also they're all sort of pretty much off the top of my head. I could probably come up with better answers for a lot of these prompts if I thought about it for more than like 10 minutes, but that's not the kind of person I am. So we're just rolling with it. So the first prompt is learning a foreign language. Who would you choose to help you learn a new language or brush up on one you can already speak but not very well? And my first thought, immediately goes to Robin Swift from Babel by R.F. Kuang. Obviously, the entire magic system in this book is based on the act of translating. And so all of the main characters in this book are multilingual and just know a lot about language and linguistics in general. And so I can't imagine they wouldn't be extremely good teachers in terms of learning another language. So yeah, that's what I come up with. Prompt 2. Life is uncertain at the moment. Who would you choose to help you prepare for future eventualities? Who will teach you the survival skills you'll need? Well, I don't think I can pick Joel from The Last of Us because he's not a book character, so I'm going to go with, honestly, my first thought for book characters is probably Amina from The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. I feel like Amina is one of those characters who has really mastered knowing when to try to talk herself out of a situation versus knowing when to stand, when it's going to be a fight and when to fight, and knowing when to sort of cut her losses and bug out, right? And those, I think, are all really important survival skills. I think survival, in many cases, is not just about knowing how to fight. It's about also being able to talk yourself out of situations, being able to charm people sometimes, and of course, knowing when to cut and run. Sometimes survival is just about getting out of there as quickly and as expediently as you possibly can. And yeah, I think Amina is very good at all of those things, and so she would probably be a very good teacher of the survival skills. The third prompt. Everyone should be able to cook at least one outstanding meal. Who would you choose to help you plan and prepare that meal? I mean, for me, the obvious choice, especially when it comes to planning, meal planning and preparation, would have to be Sarah, the head cook at Booktube from the Farseer trilogy. Nobody would be better at planning for and preparing a really large, fancy meal than the head cook at a royal castle in more or less medieval times, right? Like, seems to me that that is in fact her one job. So probably Sarah. Though I will say, usually my first thought comes to baking because I have more baking type characters sort of in front of mind than like cooking. And for that, I would say, like, I would just want Thimble from Legends and Lattes and Ray from Sunshine to have just like a cinnamon roll bake-off, and then let me be the judge, because then that means I get to eat all their cinnamon rolls and decide which ones are the best. And that just seems like a win-win situation for me, personally. The fourth prompt. Life is tough and unpredictable. You should be able to defend yourself. Who would you choose to teach you some basic self-defense? Again, I think there's a couple of options for this that I can just sort of think of off the top of my head. Kissin from Godkiller, she kills gods for a living. Seems like she would probably know a thing or two about how to fight and how to defend herself. Seems like a pretty logical choice there. Also, Ziala from Black Sun. Again, she's very much almost along the lines of Amin al-Sarafi, actually. She's more along the lines of a survivalist, knowing how to get yourself out of a fight as quickly as possible, knowing when to use the tools that you have in the so that they are the most effective they can possibly be in order to get out of a situation, I think is probably where Ziala's strength really lies, in self-defense. The fifth prompt. Life can be chaotic at times. Who would you like to teach you mindfulness or relaxation? I mean, I feel like, you know, the really the best people for mindfulness are always going to be Jedi. And since I did just finish rereading Light of the Jedi, the first thought that came to mind was Avar Kriss. She seems like she would be especially good at that. Like, all Jedi, I think, would be quite good at teaching meditation, teaching mindfulness. But I feel like Avar Kriss is, like, particularly, like, she has a particular talent for that line of being. So yeah, probably Avar Kriss. And then the final question is just a free choice. What else would you like to learn? And which fictional character is going to teach you that skill? And again, a couple of things sort of come to mind. I think the obvious one is that I would love to learn the art of detection from Sherlock Holmes, because, I mean, yeah, who wouldn't, right? Like, that seems like one of the most obvious potential answers for this. That's basically what Holmes is doing with Watson in all of these stories. It's basically teaching Watson the art of detection. What better teacher could there possibly be? I was also thinking, you know, if I really wanted to learn how to execute a long-term revenge plot, Edmond Dantes from The Count of Monte Cristo would probably be the best person to step up to that plate. I'm not saying that there is anyone in my life that I need to execute a long-term revenge plot against. But if that eventuality were to come to pass, Edmond Dantes would be the best choice for that particular role. So yeah, that's the fictional self-help tag. I'm not going to tag anybody else. Honestly, I think most of the people I follow regularly have probably already done this tag. If you're watching this, as usual, if you're watching this and you want to do this tag, feel free to consider yourself tagged by me and do this tag. Be my... I love to see what everybody says for these answers, honestly, because these are really fun. This is a really fun tag. So once again, thanks to Netta for tagging me. Thanks to Alan's Reads for creating the tag. This is thoroughly an enjoyable tag. And yeah, that's all I got for this one. So just a real quick, fun little thing. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.